All right, this is a quick video update to my last video on how to get Forza Motorsport to run at 4K 60 FPS Ultra. This update is because of the new updated drivers that came out from NVIDIA over the past couple weeks, past month I guess, that enabled DLSS 4 support for I think mostly all of the NVIDIA cards, in even like the 30 series cards, like the 3080 that I'm running. So I'm running a 3080 12 gig and an Intel Core i7 12700K, and I'm just going to walk you through the settings. And I'm really happy. The big deal here is that now that I'm able to run DLSS and it looks really good, basically I've gotten a performance increase that allows me to now set the settings at Ultra and all of the sub settings at high. So basically I'll just show you the settings and then I'll show you how to do this yourself if you have a similar setup. So dynamic render quality set to Ultra. We've got it set at 4K, and we have DLSS on. In this case, I'm able to run at DLAA, so it's the maximum quality. There's no upscaling, and it looks incredible. It looks noticeably better than TAA, which is what I had recommended in the previous video before these driver updates. So basically with DLAA, it looks a lot better than it did when it was running DLSS 3 on the previous drivers. And the performance is better too. It's not perfect, there's still a little bit of artifacts here and there, but overall I think most people will want to go with this until the game officially supports DLSS 4. And I'm not sure at this point that it does, but you can force it, which I'll show you how to do in the driver settings. So yeah, the graphic settings are, again, dynamic render quality is still at Ultra, 60 FPS. This is a 120 Hertz refresh rate TV, so I'm running with variable refresh rate. It's running G-Sync compatible. Now I'm able to run 16x anisotropic filtering. I'm running ray tracing on this 3080 with full reflections and RTAO. RTO quality is high. This RTGI, I wouldn't recommend actually using this or enabling this up here in ray tracing. It made a lot of weird looking artifacts for me. Maybe the 40 series, it works great, but on the 30 series, it doesn't work properly. Shadow quality high, all of this is high. Cube map high, car model high, library high, windshield high, mirror quality high. Mirror shown in all views should be off for this performance. Track high, particle effects high, motion blur quality high. I like it to motion blur in the cockpit. To me, it looks a little more realistic. Lens flare is high, and there you have it. So now I'm going to show you what you actually need to do here in order to, if you have a similar setup to this, get the same performance. And I'm getting a solid 60 FPS at 4K Ultra. So you want to make sure that first of all that you download the most recent NVIDIA drivers, and then you're going to want to make sure to download the NVIDIA app. So once you're in the NVIDIA app, you're going to go to your Forza Motorsport game, and you're going to go down to the driver settings section, and you're going to pick the DLSS override. This is what's going to allow you to pick the Transformer model. And what you're going to do is, once you have that Transformer model, you're going to want to pick use different settings. So you're not going to use the same, you're going to pick latest, but once you do that, for some reason, it has you pick this preset, or it ends up going back to this. You want to make sure it's on latest, Now, I have tried preset J as well with which some others recommended had less ghosting, but the performance on the latest I found, even though it had a tad bit of that still in the background, and the performance was amazing. So I would pick this latest. Make sure you pick latest and do this DLSS override up here. So it's right under CUDA GPUs. You're gonna make sure to pick the DLSS override. I also want to note that I picked a maximum refresh rate of 60 FPS. Even though this is a 120 hertz monitor, it just seems like this game was more optimized for the Xbox Series X, which is running at 60 FPS typically. Just runs better that way. So that's what you want to do. And you're going to pick 60 FPS for your max frame rate. And it's just going to run really stably. So there's that. And then the last part, which is really important, there are a couple things that I said in the previous video. Number one, under your graphics settings, you want to make sure that you choose advanced, and you want to make sure hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is turned off. Now, you might have different results if you're running a different CPU, but I would just experiment with this. In my case, it's running a lot smoother with this off, with the 12700K Intel i7. And then the other thing that's really important is you're going to need to go into your BIOS settings, which I'm not going to show you right now, but you're going to want to go into your BIOS or basically your UEFI prior to booting into Windows. And when you go in there, you're going to want to disable resize bar support. I'm only showing you this because when you go into system information, if you correctly disable that, it's going to show resizable bar, and that's going to say no if you correctly disabled that in your BIOS, also known as the UEFI. If you don't know how to boot into that, then just Google it, but basically you need to, typically when you're restarting your computer, you'll hold down on your keyboard either the escape key or the delete key. And like, for example, I have an MSI motherboard, and when you hold those down, it'll boot into that menu, and then you'll just go in under your it's under your PCI settings, and under PCI you're going to need to locate that resizable bar. Typically, like on all my other setups, like my 4080 setup, I enable that. But for this game, if you're running a sim rig like me and you want it to run smoothly, at least with the 3080, you need to disable that resizable bar. And if you do that, you're going to get really smooth frame rates. I've really experimented quite a bit with turning it on and off, and it always stutters here and there. It's just a little bit inconsistent. And when you're running on a sim rig like this, and the screen, this is a 48-inch screen and it's up close, you don't want any kind of frame drops, like not even slightly, or else it just really ruins the immersion. And unfortunately, that's just an issue with this game, with Forza Motorsport. It just doesn't seem to be as well optimized for PC. I mean, maybe they'll fix that at some point, but for now, and for ever since the game has come out, in my experience, you need to disable that resizable bar support. A lot of people probably don't want to do that if they're running a setup where they're playing other games where you really want that extra performance boost, and like they're running, you know, Cyberpunk or something. But in my case, I have another setup with the 4080 that I play for more of my games like Alan Wake and stuff like that. But for my sim rig, yeah, if you want your sim rig to run well on this game, and I really do think this game is worth it. If you set it up properly, it looks really, really good, honestly. You just have to know how to tweak it. So anyways, I hope this is helpful to people, and yeah, let me know in the comments if you've had any different experience with that. I haven't played this game on my 4080 because that setup is in a different room, and I like the fact that I'm getting so much kind of longevity out of my 3080 card. It is, again, the 12 gigabyte 3080. I've got the Asus ROG Strix card. I'll show you. I'll just show you. I'm in my basement here. This is my sim rig setup. So I've got that 3080, and it's great, you know. And I've got the 12700K in here. So yeah, if you're running a 3080 and you're on a similar kind of CPU, that's an older one like that or a little bit older, I think you're going to get really good results with this. And yeah, hope that was helpful. Thanks. Bye.